Outside the Shankly gates, I heard a cop-eyed calling. Shankly, they have taken you away.
In January 2008, 350 Liverpool fans met at the Sandon pub in Anfield, the very birthplace of Liverpool Football Club. And together they established a union to represent the interests of supporters and protect the club they feel so passionately about.
As fans, we could see what was happening to our club. You know, you've seen the way clubs got into administration, you know, throughout the game, and we could see our club down the same way. So it was just under 3 years ago when 400 or so like-minded Liverpool fans met in the Sandon pub, and then from then on, the spirit of Shankly has just grown and grown.
We advertised it on websites, word of mouth, tried to get every Liverpool fan organisation that we knew in the city of, let them know about it. So it was a massive turnout, a lot better than we thought.
The first issue was the dawning realisation that the two American owners weren't going to be good for the club. And there was also the realisation of what the Liverpool fans were like. It just needed a catalyst to try and pull everybody together, because I think the people were there, it just needed something to try and lead it.
It just overwhelms me how it's grown from that 300, 400 people to literally thousands worldwide, sharing the same interest and the same love of Liverpool Football Club.
You're meant to go to the match and moan about how crap Ryan Babel is, or how awful the ale is in the local, and instead we were going to match talking about finances and debt, and it just wasn't what Liverpool Football Club was about.
City Talks Football on City Talk 105.9.
Welcome to a City Sports special focusing on Liverpool Football Club, and in the studio two people to deliver more than forthright views on the current plight that the Reds are facing. So if a fan is out there listening now, why should they care that Liverpool is in £300 million worth of debt?
Because if you look back to when David Moores owned the club, there was, I think we were £44 million in debt. So the interest payments per year were approximately £4 million, which is serviceable from Liverpool's turnover. If you look at the debts now, it's near 40 million a year. So that 40 million could be spent on the playing staff and the squad, and that's what, at the end of the day, that's what real fans are really interested in. In the past, the club has tended to be well run. With this scenario, though, we had two Americans coming in who used leverage buyout tactics to buy the club and place debt on the club. So any time that anyone buys anything from the club, whether it's a ticket or any commercial aspect, it's going to service the debt. The interest payments, we think, are unsustainable. I think a lot of financial experts think they're unsustainable. And obviously the banks think it's unsustainable because they've told the Americans they've got to sell.
They don't care about Liverpool Football Club. They don't care about anything concerned with it apart from the money and the debt that's building up. £110,000 worth of debt per day, and we're paying that. Liverpool Football Club fans are paying that on a daily basis for them to be at our club.
The reason the Spirit of Shankly was set up was we wanted to change the ownership of the club, and the only way we knew how to do that is to protest against the owners.
Today we're making sure that they're told they're not welcome here anymore, and making sure that we just keep them in America and tell them they're not welcome here anymore, and just to sell up and get rid.
The police have decided that now it's not in their best interests for Foster Gillette to come, so by peaceful protest we've been able to make sure that the message got right to the heart of the Gillette family that they're not welcome here.
I remember when the Spirit of Shankly formed, and the speed with which they made their mark was phenomenal. 1 minute they're having a meeting in the back of the Sandon, and there's a few hundred members talking about what they can do. A fortnight, maybe 3 weeks later, they've got representatives of the Sheikh of Dubai meeting them to find out ways that they can unseat Tom Hicks, who at that time was the best buddy of the most powerful man in the world, George Bush.
We've met George Gillette on a few occasions. The first occasion we had about 4,000 people marching in protest against what these owners were doing to the club. And that morning, a few representatives of the union went to meet George Gillette. He either thought we were absolutely stupid, or we just believe everything he was telling us. Basically, everything's fine, but the only fact of the matter is we've got no stadium and the debts are piling higher every day. £110,000 interest every day. It's an absolute scandal.
the old days of the 50s and the 60s with the local plumber and butcher being the owners of the club is probably gone. However, all we're looking for is a fair crack of the whip from the owners. It's okay for people to make a fair return on an investment, but it's got to be a fair return. And I think from the union's perspective is what we've been protesting about for so long.
The Football League is supposed to have a fit and proper test for owners. They just haven't got it. Otherwise, Liverpool, for example, would not be run by Hicks Gillette. United would not be run by the Glazers.
When we first met with Ian Ayer, it was quite positive, but we said we'd like to be a critical friend. Basically, we don't want to be screaming and shouting. We just want to go to the match and enjoy the football. That's what being a Liverpool supporter is about. We're having to do this because of the situation the owners have put us in.
It's all about addressing the concerns that fans have. You know, when there's a £2 ticket increase, and when these travel companies want to charge an arm and a leg to get you to, you know, a place that cost £100 a week before, then again we'll be there to say no, we won't do that. We'll do our own travel, and if we can't, we'll hold you to account to make sure that we're not being ripped off.
We can't speak behalf on every Liverpool fan, but I think we represent a lot of match-going fans, people from abroad. I'm obviously German myself, so I know a lot of fans from abroad, so that's my role came together to look after fans who come regularly from all over the world, really. Obviously someone from Belgium has probably different worries than someone from, say, Hong Kong, but we all try to tie them in and do as good as we can.
A lot of people think it's just somewhere they go with a Saturday, but really, you know, historically, football clubs were more than that, and I think that's what hopefully the Spirit of Shankly, well, not hopefully, that's what it believes in, and it does a lot to get links with the community.
There's sort of two areas to the community stuff that we do. We've done 3 coaching camps last summer for kids, and we've done it again in February, and we'll be trying to carry this on in future. So we've had volunteer coaches from our membership, so all the coaching camps are being completely free of charge to the kids. They can get down and get for free and sort of get a bit of involvement, learn new skills, meet new friends and everything like that. The other aspect of it is something, a big project we're working on at the moment is called the Football Quarter, which is with an Everton fan group called Keep Everton Our City. And this is sort of looking on the regeneration of Anfield, in terms of looking at the regeneration in terms of the new stadium or a redeveloped stadium for Liverpool to help the match day revenue, but also looking at the bigger scheme of things in terms of saying to Liverpool Football Club, you can't just say we're building a new stadium, not fund it and sort of leave the community in limbo.
Looking around this room, there's probably quite a lot of you who've been going to Anfield as long as me, if not longer. And if you look at what has been done to that area over the years, it really is a crying shame. The fact is the developer hasn't been able to develop any more out because of the uncertainty caused by Liverpool Football Club. Well, we've gone from strength to strength, and we've reached a position where we've got a reputation both with the club and indeed in the media, as we've demonstrated with the recent removal of Hicks Jr., where we're taken very seriously.
One of my highlights was the campaign for Michael Shields. You know, I thought it was a fantastic way, you know, the lads got involved in it, and the family embraced us very well.
Okay, can I start by thanking everybody for turning out this morning? What it does is it shows support to the 2 people standing next to me, and it also shows support to Michael Shields, who, as we all know, is in jail for a crime he didn't commit. The Spirit of Shankly approached me and said, is there anything he can do, you know, for us? And I just said, you know, we'd love to get Michael's case highlighted, and the Spirit of Shankly and our campaign, we had various meetings with them. They done a big night for Michael in the Devonshire that went down really well, and it was a good night, and they raised a substantial amount of money for our cause.
There was a few committee members who come up to see me and made their intentions clear, you know, look, we're gonna fight for you, and you know, they did. I mean, it was like a boost of, you know, an injection what you need when you're fighting a cause like that.
I am involved, and I want to be involved because of how I feel for the club, and to give fans like myself and other fans a voice, make sure that our issues, our concerns, our fears are listened to and addressed.
If you ask people who travel away every week what can be achieved, they'll tell you cheaper travel to away games, they're not getting ripped off anymore. If you ask Michael Shields and his father what can be achieved, go and ask the Liverpool leader of the council, Joe Anderson, what can be achieved by joining the union. If you ask people who want to hold the club to account and the owners to account what can be achieved by joining the union, joining the union gives you a voice. Basically, thousands of people are now joining together to have a voice.
In the short term and constantly we're holding whoever's owning the club to account to make certain that the best interests of the club are being looked after. In the medium term, it's obviously to grow the union and get a real vibrant supporters base around Liverpool Football Club, which can actually look at the way in which the club's going. But ultimately, the fans want to be involved in owning the club.
If we achieve what we set out to do, we'll make history basically. Every decision that's made at club level will take into account the views of fans, and we can't ask nothing more than that.
People think football is run by agents and players, only if you let them. People think that it's run by multinational capitalists who come and buy a club, only if you let them.
Why should we rely upon unscrupulous businessmen to run our football clubs? I mean, why don't we have some sort of fan involvement? And in fact, it's not a pipe dream, because every political party had it in their manifesto in the recent election.
What we'll be doing is putting our £50 in, £500 in, £5,000 in, and building up, slowly but surely, ownership of the club.
I've been to a European Fan Congress in Hamburg, speaking to fans from various clubs around Europe about fan ownership. There's one in Barcelona in July we are looking at to attend.
The place where this happens is the German clubs, and they've got to be owned, 51% being owned by the fans, you know. And say, well, they can't compete in the world markets. But if you look at Bayern Munich, they've just got to the Champions League final.
At the end of the day, we have a vested interest in this football club, not financially, not for the business sense, but because it is part of who we are.
Outside the Shankly gate.
Hopefully, in years to come, the fans will again be thought of, rather than just dismissed as that. They will always be there.
If there's one good thing that Thomas and George Slett have given us, it is the fact that from this we have a properly organised group.
It's a totally positive experience. It's about the feeling of everybody getting behind the club.
It fits quite nicely with the idea of Bill Shankly and what he made Liverpool Football Club into, and the beliefs that he instilled in many of the fans.
All round the fields of Hatfield Road, where once we watched the King Kenny play, and could he play? Stevie Highway on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing.